It's that fun time of year where I hear lots of couples talking about how exciting Christmas is, but let's be real, more honestly, how stressful it is, how much financial pressure there is, and how often they fight around finances or in laws or presents or a myriad of other situations. So, in this episode, we're going to talk specifically around financial stress around Christmas, what you can do about it, how you and your partner can work as a team. I promise you, this is a game changer, and the top 5 tips to get you on track with your finances around Christmas as a couple. All right. This is so important because what I find is a lot of things come crumbling down around Christmas, a lot of additional stress that we don't normally have. Even though we're looking forward to the holidays, there's a lot of stress around in laws, extended family, around getting the right gifts, around finances, because there's not just presents, but there's food and there's decorations, there's travel. Often we're trying to cram in seeing every man and his dog in a short period of time so we can get back. And usually a lot of people end up saying, I need a holiday for my holiday. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm over this. I don't even know why our Christmases look like that. Now, I don't want that to be you. I also find a lot of couples will have discrepancies around how they want to handle spending around Christmas. And so here are the top 5 tips so you don't get stuck in that trap. One is create a realistic budget together. Actually, talk about how much you would want to spend on each child, on each other, what would be important to each person, like what's more important for the kids to receive. Now, I know a lot of people might find this a little bit funny, but there are so many ways to do this that you don't have to spend a lot of money on each child. And I know that sounds funny, but especially when you've got younger children, they're really excited and lit up by things that are educational. So, like two birds, one stone, that they need hair accessories, underwear. Like if it's pink and sparkly for a girl and they're young, they love it, right? So, it doesn't always have to be big, expensive toys that you end up standing on and getting annoyed with for the rest of the year. Really strategically think about what the right type of gifts are and also what can minimize the other side of spending, but also still be a gift. Now, I know it sounds a little sneaky, but a lot of those stocking fillers that people put in, they get stood on during the 2 weeks after Christmas and they end up in the bin and they end up broken. So, if you're going to do stocking fillers, think about what are positive stocking fillers. What are things that the kids need anyway that you can stuff the stocking with? That means you just don't have to buy it later. Often they still really, really love this. It does depend on the age of the child, but it can be really, really worthwhile. Or just buy one bigger, more meaningful gift instead of 10 small things. Or pull in as, a few families and buy the one big gift that child is after, especially if it's a teenager. So there's ways to do this to get creative around this. That means it doesn't break the bank. Also, when you sit down, create a specific time, create a specific place, and yes, decide on the spending limit, decide on the responsibility. That can be another big trigger for couples. Who's going to buy what present? I'm exhausted, all of that kind of stuff. Just put it in a spreadsheet. What do you need to buy? How much is it going to be? And agree on that. And that way, you're in the confines of this and the spending doesn't blow out just for the sake of it. Number 2 is prioritize meaningful gifts and experiences. So if you focus on things like shared memories instead of huge big gifts, it saves you a lot of money. If you focus on DIY or personalized gifts, or you limit gift giving, you talk about extended families and maybe you switch to Secret Santa, maybe you give one big gift to one family. Like, you can be really creative around this so you don't have so much financial pressure. Just because one family wants to do it one way doesn't mean you can have a discussion and see if it works this year and then reevaluate for the year after. I really, really recommend that. But it's about having early, honest, open conversations now before everyone gets into gift buying. So that's really important. Number 3, openly discuss your financial worries and expectations. This is a big one that undoes lots and lots and lots of couples. A lot of people will just bury it and be like, well, we're fine, and not talk about the stress of the finances. If you set time regularly once a week to talk about your financial worries, what's coming up, and talk to each other like a trusted teammate, have it written down, and it takes the stress and the fear and worry away when you both know and you've got it written down with the figures in front of you. It's kind of like what we avoid becomes bigger and more scary than what we just actually look at. The next one is a biggie too, align holiday plans. Now, obviously, holiday can be expensive, like the travels, the outings, the holiday events. Talk to each other about what you want it to look like, what your expectations are, and put figures to this so it's not surprising for each one of you. Number 4, find alternatives to expensive traditions. Honestly, If a big holiday partner is expensive, a big holiday party is really expensive, then maybe do potluck instead this year, right? Still so much fun, less work for you. Plan cost-free holiday fun. Like honestly, you can watch holiday movies, decorate together, local light displays, lots of fun, memorable things. Even making Christmas cookies at home is really not that expensive. It's really inexpensive. And simplify your meals. I think a big, huge expense that blows out in Christmas is alcohol, the extra treats we buy, and the meals. If you can free yourself from needing to have 6 months worth of Christmas leftovers in your fridge after the day of Christmas, you'll be so much better off. Simplify your meal for it to be easy and inexpensive, or get everyone to pitch in so you're not carrying that load, because it's not particularly fair for one family, even if you rotate, to carry the load. See how you can help take the burden off each other there. And number 5, use the season to set financial goals. I know that sounds like a funny time to set financial goals, but if you're looking at financial peace as well as creating, here's 2 things: financial peace and creating memorable moments and times with your family, then the focus becomes not so much on spending as it does on more quality, meaning, and intent, which is really what we want when we talk about all relationships. We don't just want to spend and give a gift to somebody. We want it to be memorable or meaningful or specific to them from you that makes it valuable. So think about financial peace. What would bring you financial peace for 2025? What would bring you financial peace for this rest of 2024? And commit to a stress-free financial plan. So if you look at your financial goals and you look at your financial budget for the rest of the year and into next year, and it doesn't bring you peace and it stresses you out, and you think, how on earth, where can you delete, modify, or change expenses? Where do we need to get rid of some things? Where do we need to scale back the gift giving or the food buying? Where do we need to take the stress and pressure off ourselves? Because honestly, the piece is worth way more than buying the extravagant gift. So I want you to see how you can take the financial pressure off each other. The biggest thing is you need to keep talking through this season, because when we don't talk is when things unravel. And coming up, I am going to go into how to minimize the Christmas stress, because I know there's a lot of things around boundary setting, around in-laws, around all sorts of things around Christmas that really stress us out. So we're going to go into those specifically, but today was around finances and how you can minimize those financial stresses. So to recap, create a realistic budget together, prioritize meaningful gifts and experiences, openly discuss financial worries and expectations. Do this regularly, do this weekly. Find alternatives to expensive traditions and use the season to set financial goals. When you're both on the same page, it makes such a difference. It keeps you actually moving together instead of going like this. And when you put it in black and white and you can see it in front of you, whether it's on a spreadsheet or a piece of paper, you both agree to it. It helps reduce the mental load for both of you. It helps you feel like somebody else is on your team, like you're working together and that you can get through this. So these are very, very important, because Christmas is such a stressful time and it's one of the main times couples will split. So I want you to really be conscious of this and make a big effort to put one of these things in place. So in the comments below, let me know, what is the one thing you're going to put in place around your finances coming up to the Christmas season? I would love to hear. Now it's time for you to turn your relationships on.